Doctor Who Season 6, Episodes 1 to 5, titled The Dominators. And I was, oddly enough, was going to watch The Wheel in Space. And I was like, I'm about to watch it. You know, I'm about to watch the final episode of Season 5 of the classic series. I was almost going to watch the final episode of the second last season of the Second Doctor, the last Victoria story, the introduction of Zoe, of a companion and her backstory and all that kind of stuff. And then I click on it and I go, oh, it's a telenap, and I agreed to myself that I'm not going to cover the telenaps because I don't find that being fair on the story where, you know, naturally we all know the story. I mean, I repeated it several times, which is, you know, the BBC didn't know that to, you know, say cast, they, you know, in a nutshell, tape record all episodes, because the idea was you play it once and you never play it again. You know, the concept of reruns and Blu-rays and streaming services at the time wasn't known. It wasn't common. It, you know, wasn't even, there was no TARDIS popping on, dumping on, you know, knocking on the doorsteps and say, you better not, you know, there's this thing called DVDs, at least, or video tape recorders, and they're going to be very variable, and it's going to be very, very variable for a lot of people, and BBC in general. There wasn't none of that. So naturally, a number of the episodes are missing, and so we got anime recreations and telenaps, and anime recreations are fair due, and I actually do enjoy watching animated stuff. But when it comes to telenaps, when it comes to slideshows, it's a slideshow, and I don't feel it's fair for that particular story of me, you know, bagging on it when it's just no movement or performance, whatever. It's just a picture, and just watching pictures go through. It's basically audio drama. I watch and listen to audio drama, and then it will occasionally go in motion with actual footage, and I just don't find that to be fair. So we jump to season 6, and already I'm like, oh, this is Zoe, which I'm like, Zoe could easily be Susan, who could easily be Barbara, who could easily be Victoria, or Dojo, or Vicky, any of the other companions that we have met so far, and into a blender. She's still the female companions. I mean, the companions in general, and as I said last time, I mean, Jamie just sticks around until the end of the Second Doctor's era, of Traveling's era. So you never know. Third Doctor, we get some decent opinions and well written, and, you know, the ones that keep a impression on people. How long till Joe Grant? How long till Sarah Jane? But outside of that, the story of the Dominators, I'm watching it and I'm like, this is like a 3-part story that's getting stretched into 5. Like, this feels like there's potential here. Like, the idea of that there's these let's say invaders calling themselves the Dominators, that have these little killer robots, these cubes that actually look like the robot from Interstellar. That's basically what it is. It literally looks like the robot from Interstellar, and they're like, we need to build slaves. We need to find intelligence, and, you know, and this planet has people who will not settle war, who don't believe violence is the answer. Its whole species, it's all the whole species and the whole planet are pacifists. They will not follow any violence, and they are hunting this planet down and trying to get slaves so they can do what they do. And I was like, okay, this is kind of neat, and I understand why certain scenes there, like, you know, why are we having Jamie and the Doctor getting their, you know, tests, and the Dominators testifying how intelligent they are, before the other characters, our side characters, do. yeah, I get it, but I felt like, okay, that's going a little bit too long. You could easily shorten that up a little bit, maybe make it a little bit more quicker and faster. Even though there's some points where I'm like, I might miss a piece of dialogue. I was like, wait, when did they set the two of them free? There's scenes I'm like, oh, you could easily just like cut all that stuff out and just like put it there and this is it, and that's basically what it is. Like, I see the potential with the story, but I felt like it really needed a lot of, you wouldn't need it needed another draft, and probably at the time it was, yeah, it's in the can. The idea of a first draft is not key, because now we can always be like, oh yeah, that scene worked, and you know, by page 30 that's when you can start worrying, change some things, and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those stories where it's like we must talk about, because I mean, even the third act, like the third act is so dragged on for me. Like, the Doctor has created these little bombs that's going to bomb the Dominators' plans and robots and all that. Was it the crank they call it, or these robots are called the Knacks? Something they're called the Knacks, and they just. It just goes way too long. I think they're trying to do the big action sequence at the end, but they don't have the budget. It was a different era where you could do certain things. I think now you could easily do more, explosions, Bahori and explosions. I think the big ending might be a little bit too big at the time, and a little bit too much that they could chew, and it suffers, and it's bad. I just thought the story was okay. They were fine. Basically, every choice there was there. It was fine. The Dominators were fine. You know what it is? It feels very stereotypical sci-fi. And it was like one of those things like, this is what sci-fi was before Star Wars. Okay, gotcha. That's basically what this story is for me. It's like, it's typical sci-fi. It's okay sci-fi. Goes a bit long, but yeah, it's, for me, it's fine. So the next one is, let me look this up. What's the next one after? The next one after the Dominators is the Mind Whopper, which is another 5-part story. Yes, it's another 5-part story. So that I will